Fake Rich vs. Real Wealth, written and published by Rich Audiobooks. In today's social media-driven world, the urge to flex, showing off expensive purchases, exclusive experiences, and symbols of wealth has become nearly irresistible. Every day, millions scroll through carefully curated displays of luxury cars, designer clothes, and lavish vacations. This culture of conspicuous consumption creates an illusion of wealth that masks a troubling reality. Many who appear rich are actually poor in assets and rich in monthly payments. The fake rich have mastered the art of appearance. They calculate their worth in Instagram likes and social validation, trading tomorrow's security for today's applause. Their financial decisions revolve around what others can see rather than what can genuinely grow their wealth. This mentality leads to a constant cycle of spending to maintain an image, leaving little to nothing for actual wealth building. Lesson 1. Fake rich flex, real rich invest. Meanwhile, those building real wealth often appear deceptively ordinary. They drive reliable cars long after they could afford luxury vehicles. Their homes are comfortable but not ostentatious. Their social media presence, if they have one, rarely showcases their financial success. Instead of fleeting displays of status, they focus on something far more powerful: compound interest. The stark difference lies in where money flows. When the fake rich receive income, it immediately transforms into visible status symbols: the latest phones, trendy clothes, or expensive restaurants. Their bank accounts remain perpetually near zero because every dollar serves the purpose of perception. The real wealthy, however, immediately direct their income toward investments, stocks, bonds, real estate, and business opportunities. They understand that every dollar invested is a soldier recruited for their financial army, working tirelessly to create more wealth. This investment-first mindset creates a powerful snowball effect. While the fake rich struggle to maintain their lifestyle, real wealth builders watch their assets multiply through compound interest. A single dollar invested today might become $10 in the future, while a dollar spent on a luxury item becomes worth nothing. This fundamental truth explains why many who appear wealthy in their 20s and 30s often struggle financially in their 40s and 50s, while the quiet investors emerge with substantial wealth. The true wealthy recognize that investing isn't just about money, it's about investing in knowledge, relationships, and opportunities. They read extensively about financial markets, attend educational seminars, and build networks with other successful investors. Their social media feeds are more likely to follow investment experts and business leaders than luxury lifestyle influencers. This comprehensive investment approach compounds their advantage over time. The most powerful aspect of choosing investment over flexing is the peace of mind it brings. Those who invest sleep soundly, knowing their wealth grows steadily, while the fake rich often lie awake worried about maintaining appearances and making payments. Real wealth builders find satisfaction in watching their investment accounts grow, experiencing a deeper and more lasting pleasure than any temporary social media validation could provide. Breaking free from the flex culture requires a fundamental shift in perspective. It means understanding that true wealth isn't what you can show, it's what you can grow. It means finding satisfaction in watching investment accounts flourish rather than social media likes accumulate. It means choosing to be rich instead of looking rich. This transformation isn't always easy, but it's the essential first step toward building lasting wealth, rather than temporary illusions of prosperity. Lesson 2. Fake rich by liabilities, real rich by assets. The fundamental difference between those who build lasting wealth and those who merely appear wealthy often comes down to one critical decision: understanding what to buy. This distinction isn't just about making purchases, it's about recognizing the profound impact each financial choice has on your long-term prosperity. Consider the stark contrast between two people who each receive $50,000, 0 cents. The first person immediately purchases a luxury car, feeling the immediate rush of status and admiration from others. The monthly payments, insurance, maintenance, and rapid depreciation slowly drain their resources. This is the liability trap: items that consistently pull money from your pocket while diminishing in value over time. The second person takes that same $50,000, 0 cents, and invests in a small rental property. They secure a tenant, generate monthly income, build equity through mortgage payments, and potentially benefit from property appreciation. This person understands that assets feed your wallet, not deplete it. They've created a money-generating machine rather than a money-consuming burden. The wealthy have internalized this principle so deeply that it becomes almost instinctive. When they consider a purchase, their first thought isn't about the immediate pleasure it will bring, but rather its potential to generate returns. This doesn't mean they never indulge, they simply ensure their asset column is robust enough to support their lifestyle choices. Many people struggle with this concept because modern marketing has blurred the lines between assets and liabilities. That new smartphone isn't an investment, it's a rapidly depreciating piece of technology. The designer wardrobe isn't an asset, it's a collection of items losing value from the moment of purchase. Even that new car, often rationalized as a necessity, begins losing value before leaving the dealership. Real wealth builders focus on acquiring things that appreciate or generate income: rental properties, dividend-paying stocks, businesses, intellectual property, or any investment that puts money in their pocket over time. They understand that true financial freedom comes not from what you own for show, but from what you own that grows. The transformation from liability-focused to asset-focused thinking requires a fundamental shift in how we view possessions. Instead of asking, "What will this do for my image?" the question becomes, "What will this do for my net worth?" This shift isn't about denying yourself pleasures, it's about prioritizing financial growth over temporary satisfaction. Most revealing is how this principle compounds over time. Those who consistently choose assets over liabilities create multiple income streams, building a financial fortress that can weather economic storms. Meanwhile, those who accumulate liabilities often find themselves trapped in an endless cycle of working to maintain their possessions rather than having their possessions work for them. The key to implementing this wisdom lies in developing an asset-first mentality. Before making any significant purchase, analyze whether it will appreciate, generate income, or decrease in value while incurring ongoing costs. This simple filter can dramatically alter your financial trajectory and reveal opportunities for wealth building that might otherwise go unnoticed. Building real wealth requires the courage to resist immediate gratification in favor of long-term prosperity. It means understanding that true financial freedom isn't about what you can buy today, but about creating sustainable wealth that grows over time. The next time you're faced with a purchasing decision, ask yourself, am I buying an asset or a liability? Your answer to this question might just determine your financial future. Lesson 3. Fake rich need attention, real rich move in silence. The most powerful moves in wealth creation often happen away from the spotlight. While social media feeds overflow with designer purchases, exotic vacation shots, and carefully curated displays of affluence, genuine wealth builders are typically conspicuous by their absence from such showcases. This invisible approach to wealth building isn't just about modesty, it's a strategic advantage that separates sustainable wealth from temporary affluence. Consider the psychological tax of constant validation seeking. Every post, every showcase, every public display of material success demands energy that could be channeled into actual wealth creation. The fake rich often fall into this attention trap, measuring their worth through likes, comments, and the temporary dopamine hits of social validation. This external validation becomes addictive, creating a cycle where financial decisions are increasingly made with public perception in mind rather than sound economic principles. The genuinely wealthy understand that attention can be a liability. Privacy creates space for clear thinking, strategic planning, and uninterrupted execution. When every financial move isn't broadcast to the world, there's freedom to experiment, fail, learn, and adjust without the pressure of public scrutiny. This privacy also provides protection from opportunists, from premature judgment, and from the subtle ways that attention can corrupt decision-making. The silence of real wealth builders isn't about secrecy, it's about focus. While others are crafting the perfect caption for their latest luxury purchase, the truly wealthy are deep in spreadsheets, market analysis, or negotiations. They're reading, learning, and building relationships that create lasting value. Their energy flows into wealth creation rather than wealth demonstration, and this focused approach compounds over time. This quiet approach extends beyond social media. In business dealings, boardrooms, and investment opportunities, those building real wealth often prefer to operate behind the scenes. They understand that attention can inflate prices, attract competitors, and complicate deals. The ability to move quietly allows them to spot opportunities others miss and act on them without driving up market interest. The fake rich, by contrast, often telegraph their moves before they make them. They announce their intentions, share their strategies, and broadcast their successes and failures. This need for attention doesn't just drain energy, it can actively work against their financial interests. Markets react to information, and excessive sharing can eliminate advantages before they are fully realized. Real wealth builders also understand the value of strategic anonymity and personal security. Visible wealth can attract unwanted attention, from harmless requests for investment advice to more serious security concerns. By maintaining a lower profile, they protect not just their assets, but their peace of mind and their ability to move freely in the world. The path to sustainable wealth requires discernment about when to be visible and when to operate quietly. There are times when visibility serves a purpose, building a brand, attracting investors, or creating business opportunities. The key is being intentional about attention rather than seeking it as validation. Real wealth builders choose their moments of visibility carefully, ensuring they serve a strategic purpose rather than an emotional need. The digital age has made attention more accessible than ever, but it's also made privacy more valuable. As others chase followers and engagement, those building real wealth often find their edge in the spaces between the spotlights. They understand that true financial success isn't measured in likes or shares, but in the quiet accumulation of assets, knowledge, and opportunities that compound over time. Lesson 4. Fake rich lease luxury, real rich own equity. The allure of luxury cars, designer watches, and high-end properties tempts many into the leasing trap. The fake rich often opt for leasing arrangements that allow them to drive prestigious vehicles and live in upscale neighborhoods without building any actual ownership. They prioritize the appearance of wealth over the accumulation of equity, failing to recognize that temporary access to luxury items creates a perpetual cycle of payments without building long-term value. Real wealth builders understand that ownership, particularly of appreciating assets, forms the foundation of lasting prosperity. While leasing might provide immediate gratification and lower initial costs, it represents a continuous expense that drains resources away from potential equity-building opportunities. The wealthy focus on acquiring assets that appreciate over time, whether through real estate purchases, business ownership, or investment in productive ventures that generate both cash flow and equity growth. The mathematics of luxury depreciation tells a sobering story. A leased luxury vehicle might cost $800, 0 cents monthly, while an equivalent amount invested in income-producing real estate could generate both monthly returns and appreciation. Over 5 years, the lease payments vanish into thin air, while property ownership could result in substantial equity buildup through mortgage paydown and market appreciation. The genuine wealthy recognize this fundamental difference and structure their purchases accordingly. Consider the stark contrast in mindset. Fake rich people often justify leasing by citing the ability to drive new cars every few years, or live in properties they couldn't otherwise afford. Meanwhile, those building real wealth view their purchases through the lens of ownership and long-term value creation. They might choose to purchase modest properties in emerging neighborhoods, gradually building equity while simultaneously generating rental income. This approach compounds over time, creating multiple streams of value: appreciation, tax benefits, inflation protection, and potential cash flow. The ownership advantage extends beyond traditional real estate. Business equity, intellectual property rights, and investment portfolios represent forms of ownership that the truly wealthy prioritize. They understand that controlling productive assets creates leverage and opens doors to additional opportunities. While the fake rich chase the next lease deal or rental upgrade, the real wealthy focus on expanding their ownership stakes in ventures that generate both immediate returns and long-term equity growth. The transition from a leasing mindset to an ownership mentality requires a fundamental shift in thinking about value and time. Instead of seeking immediate access to luxury items, wealth builders ask themselves how each financial decision contributes to their equity position. They might forgo the prestige of a luxury car lease in favor of purchasing a reliable vehicle outright, redirecting the saved money into business investments or real estate acquisitions. This disciplined approach to ownership over access distinguishes those who build lasting wealth from those who merely maintain the appearance of prosperity. The power of equity becomes particularly apparent during economic downturns. While those who lease luxury items often struggle to maintain their payments during difficult times, equity owners have built-in buffers through their ownership positions. They can leverage their equity for opportunities, refinance if needed, or simply ride out market fluctuations knowing their ownership stakes represent real value rather than temporary access rights. Smart wealth builders recognize that the path to financial independence runs through ownership, not leasing. They understand that each payment made toward ownership represents a step toward building their asset base, while lease payments simply maintain a lifestyle without creating lasting value. This fundamental truth guides their decision-making process, leading them to prioritize equity-building opportunities over the temporary pleasures of leased luxury items. Lesson 5. Fake rich hide debt, real rich build credit. The way people handle debt and credit reveals profound truths about their relationship with wealth. Those playing the fake rich game often accumulate massive hidden debts while maintaining a glossy exterior, like a house of cards waiting to collapse. They max out credit cards, take personal loans, and leverage themselves to the hilt, all while pretending everything is perfectly fine. This facade requires enormous energy to maintain, creating a crushing psychological burden that affects every aspect of their lives. The genuinely wealthy take an entirely different approach to debt and credit. They understand that credit is a tool, not a crutch. Rather than hiding from their financial obligations, they strategically build and maintain excellent credit scores, knowing this opens doors to wealth-building opportunities. They use debt selectively and purposefully, primarily to acquire assets that generate returns exceeding the cost of borrowing. This distinction becomes particularly clear in how each group handles credit cards. The fake rich use credit cards as artificial spending power, often carrying balances across multiple cards while making minimum payments. They view credit limits as spending allowances rather than what they truly are, high-interest debt facilities. Meanwhile, those building real wealth use credit cards strategically, often for rewards and convenience, while paying balances in full and maintaining low utilization rates. The impact of these contrasting approaches extends far beyond monthly statements. Hidden debt creates a constant undercurrent of stress and anxiety, forcing people to live in fear of their financial truth being exposed. This fear drives many to take on even more debt to maintain appearances, creating a devastating spiral that becomes increasingly difficult to escape. The fake rich often find themselves lying to family members, avoiding financial discussions, and living in constant dread of their precarious financial house of cards tumbling down. Real wealth builders take a radically transparent approach to their finances. They track every dollar, understand their debt-to-income ratios, and maintain clear visibility of their financial position. This clarity allows them to make informed decisions about when to use debt as leverage and when to avoid it. They recognize that certain types of debt, like a mortgage on a cash-flowing rental property or a business loan for expansion, can accelerate wealth building when used judiciously. The wealthy also understand the power of credit as a reputation system. They maintain high credit scores not for bragging rights, but because they recognize it as a tool that can lower their cost of capital and increase their access to opportunities. This might mean securing better interest rates on investments, qualifying for premium business credit cards, or having the ability to move quickly when investment opportunities arise. Building real wealth requires a fundamental shift in how we view debt and credit. Instead of hiding from financial realities, successful wealth builders face them head-on. They create detailed debt reduction strategies when needed, and they're not ashamed to acknowledge past financial mistakes. This honest approach allows them to learn and grow from their experiences rather than being trapped by them. The path to real wealth demands replacing the shame and secrecy around debt with strategic credit building and responsible debt management. It means stopping the endless cycle of borrowing to maintain appearances and instead borrowing strategically to build lasting wealth. When we shed the need to hide our financial reality, we free up enormous mental and emotional energy that can be redirected toward actual wealth creation. The real rich understand that financial freedom doesn't come from appearing wealthy. It comes from building a solid foundation of assets, maintaining strong credit, and using debt as a tool rather than a mask. Lesson 6. Fake rich dress up, real rich show up. In the theater of wealth, costumes often steal the spotlight from performance. The fake rich have mastered the art of dressing the part, carefully curating their wardrobe with designer labels and status symbols that scream success from every stitch. Yet beneath the perfectly pressed facade often lies an empty stage, all costume, no script. The truly wealthy understand that showing up consistently trumps showing off temporarily. They recognize that the real currency of success isn't worn on their sleeves, but demonstrated through their actions, decisions, and most importantly, their presence when it matters. While the fake rich exhaust their resources maintaining an image, the real rich invest their energy in maintaining relationships, developing skills, and seizing opportunities that arise from being present and engaged. This fundamental difference manifests in daily choices. The fake rich might spend hours coordinating outfits for social media posts or networking events, while the real rich spend that time preparing substantive contributions to meetings, learning about new market trends, or developing valuable connections. They understand that the respect earned through competence and reliability far outweighs any momentary admiration garnered from expensive accessories. Consider the impact of this distinction in professional settings. A person who consistently delivers value, meets deadlines, and contributes meaningful insights builds a reputation that no designer suit can match. The fake rich might make a striking first impressions, but the real rich leaves lasting impressions through their actions, ideas, and reliability. They are remembered not for what they wore, but for what they contributed. The authentically wealthy also grasp that true style emerges from confidence rather than labels. They may dress well, but their choices are driven by quality, comfort, and appropriateness, rather than the need to broadcast their success. Their wardrobe serves their lifestyle and objectives, rather than becoming an objective in itself. This practical approach to presentation allows them to focus their resources, both time and money, on activities that generate real returns. The contrast becomes particularly stark in business environments. While the fake rich obsess over creating a perfect image of success, the real rich are busy creating actual success. They understand that showing up prepared, engaged, and ready to add value will always outperform showing up in the latest fashion. Their reputation for reliability and competence becomes their signature style, one that appreciates rather than depreciates over time. This principle extends beyond mere physical presence. The real rich show up mentally and emotionally in their relationships, their work, and their commitments. They're fully present in conversations, attentive to opportunities, and engaged in the moment rather than distracted by maintaining appearances. This level of presence creates a compound effect of opportunities and connections that no amount of superficial styling can replicate. The irony lies in how this approach naturally leads to the very thing the fake rich strive to project: genuine respect and influence. By focusing on substance over style, the truly wealthy build a foundation of real accomplishments and meaningful relationships. Their influence stems from their contributions, their reliability, and their consistent presence in moments that matter. They understand that the most powerful statement isn't made by what you wear, but by what you do when you show up. The path to real wealth requires shifting focus from appearance to attendance, from projection to presence. It means investing in the development of skills, relationships, and opportunities, rather than an endless array of status symbols. The real rich know that showing up consistently, prepared, and engaged creates a compound effect that no amount of dressing up can match. Their legacy is built not in their closet, but in the impact they make every time they show up ready to contribute, learn, and grow. Lesson 7. Fake rich fear downturns, real rich prepare for them. Economic cycles are as natural as the changing seasons, yet their arrival often sparks panic among those maintaining a facade of wealth. The fake rich view market downturns with dread, seeing only the threat to their precarious financial image. In contrast, the truly wealthy understand that these cycles present some of the greatest opportunities for wealth accumulation, but only for those who have prepared. The fundamental difference lies in preparation versus reaction. Those building real wealth recognize that markets move in cycles and position themselves accordingly. They maintain healthy cash reserves, diversify their investments, and understand that temporary declines in asset values don't equate to permanent losses unless those assets are sold at the wrong time. This preparedness isn't just about having a financial cushion. It's about developing the mental fortitude to remain calm when others panic. During the 2008 financial crisis, while many were selling their assets at devastating losses, Warren Buffett was buying. His famous quote, "Be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful," exemplifies the mindset of the truly wealthy. They understand that downturns are not just survival challenges, but prime opportunities to acquire quality assets at discounted prices. The fake rich, operating on the edge of their financial capacity, often find themselves forced to liquidate assets during market downturns. Their lifestyle maintenance requires constant cash flow, and when markets contract, they lack the reserves to weather the storm. This forced selling at market bottoms represents a transfer of wealth from the unprepared to the prepared, a pattern that repeats throughout economic history. Real wealth builders create systems that not only survive but thrive during economic contractions. They maintain multiple income streams, keep their fixed expenses low relative to their income, and continuously educate themselves about market dynamics. They understand that financial markets are essentially mechanisms for transferring money from the impatient to the patient, from the emotional to the rational, and from the unprepared to the prepared. This preparation extends beyond just financial assets. The truly wealthy invest in their skills, relationships, and knowledge base during good times, creating resilience that serves them well during challenging periods. They build businesses that can adapt to changing conditions, develop expertise that remains valuable regardless of economic climate, and maintain networks that can provide opportunities even in contracted markets. The distinction becomes particularly clear in how each group approaches investment strategy. The fake rich often chase returns, jumping from one hot investment to another without a coherent long-term plan. In contrast, the genuinely wealthy develop and stick to investment strategies that account for both bull and bear markets. They understand that true wealth building isn't about timing the market perfectly, but about being positioned to take advantage of opportunities when they arrive. Market downturns also reveal the importance of psychological preparation. The fake rich, whose self-worth is often tied to their apparent wealth, experience significant emotional distress during market corrections. The truly wealthy, having built their wealth on fundamentals rather than appearances, maintain the emotional equilibrium necessary to make rational decisions during turbulent times. This preparation mindset carries through to all aspects of wealth management. While the fake rich scramble to maintain appearances during economic contractions, the truly wealthy often find themselves in a position to expand their holdings, invest in new opportunities, and emerge from downturns stronger than before. They understand that market cycles are not just inevitable but necessary, providing the mechanism through which assets move from weak hands to strong ones, from the unprepared to the prepared. Lesson 8. Fake rich overspend, real rich outgrow. The fundamental difference between fake rich and real wealth often comes down to a simple yet profound choice: the decision to overspend versus the commitment to outgrow. This distinction shapes not just financial outcomes, but entire life trajectories. Those caught in the fake rich mindset find themselves trapped on what economists call the hedonic treadmill, constantly chasing the next purchase high, while their happiness quickly returns to baseline. They respond to income increases by proportionally raising their spending, ensuring they remain in the same relative financial position despite earning more. This pattern creates a dangerous cycle where lifestyle inflation consumes every additional dollar earned, leaving no room for wealth building or personal development. The truly wealthy understand that money is a tool for growth rather than a means of consumption. They recognize that each dollar can either be spent once or invested to generate ongoing returns, both financial and personal. This mindset leads them to view income increases as opportunities to expand their capacity rather than their consumption. When they earn more, they maintain or only moderately adjust their lifestyle while channeling additional resources into vehicles for further growth. This growth-oriented approach manifests in multiple dimensions. The real wealthy invest heavily in their education, skills, and capabilities, understanding that personal development yields returns far beyond any luxury purchase. They seek out mentors, attend specialized training, and continuously expand their knowledge base. This investment in themselves creates a positive feedback loop. Enhanced capabilities lead to increased earning potential, which provides more resources for further growth. The fake rich, by contrast, often mistake spending for investment. They buy expensive status symbols under the guise of investing in their image or presenting success, but these purchases typically depreciate while draining resources that could fuel genuine growth. Their focus on maintaining appearances prevents them from taking the risks and making the investments necessary for real advancement. What's particularly insidious about overspending is how it creates the illusion of progress while actually preventing it. The fake rich feel successful because they're acquiring more expensive items, but they're actually moving backward in terms of net worth and financial freedom. The real wealthy may appear to live more modestly relative to their means, but they're constantly expanding their capabilities, opportunities, and actual wealth. The ability to resist lifestyle inflation doesn't stem from deprivation, but from a different source of satisfaction. The real wealthy derive their sense of progress from personal growth, business expansion, and watching their investments compound. They understand that true luxury is the freedom to choose how to spend their time and the ability to pursue meaningful opportunities. This growth-oriented mindset extends beyond individual choices to influence broader life strategies. The real wealthy tend to surround themselves with people who challenge and inspire them, rather than those who validate their spending habits. They seek out environments that promote learning and development rather than consumption and display. Their social circles often become incubators for new ideas, opportunities, and ventures. The path to real wealth requires breaking free from the consumption treadmill and redirecting energy toward growth. This means developing the discipline to maintain lifestyle stability even as income grows, creating space for investment in both financial assets and personal development. It means finding satisfaction in progress rather than purchases, and measuring success by capability expansion rather than consumption expansion. Those who master this shift discover that the joy of growth far exceeds the fleeting pleasure of spending, and that true wealth comes not from what you can buy, but from who you become. Lesson 9. Fake rich live paycheck to paycheck, real rich create cash flow. The most revealing distinction between the fake rich and the truly wealthy lies not in what they earn, but in how they structure their financial lives. Living paycheck to paycheck represents a peculiar paradox in modern society. It affects both those with modest incomes and those earning substantial salaries. The fake rich, regardless of their income level, find themselves trapped in this cycle, creating an illusion of wealth while remaining perpetually dependent on their next payment. True wealth builders understand that breaking free from the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle requires establishing multiple streams of income. They recognize that relying solely on earned income, no matter how substantial, creates vulnerability and limits long-term wealth accumulation. Instead of viewing their salary as their primary source of wealth, they see it as seed capital for creating sustainable systems. These cash flow systems take many forms, but they all share a common principle. Money should work independently of time. While the fake rich exhaust their mental energy calculating days until their next paycheck, the truly wealthy focus on building mechanisms that generate income whether they're working or not. This might involve rental properties, dividend-paying investments, business automation, or intellectual property royalties. The specific vehicle matters less than the underlying principle of detaching income from direct time investment. The transformation from paycheck dependency to cash flow abundance begins with a fundamental shift in spending patterns. The fake rich allocate their income primarily to consumption, creating a never-ending cycle of earned and spent money. In contrast, those building real wealth prioritize purchasing or creating assets that generate additional income. They understand that every dollar can either be spent once or invested to produce ongoing returns. A crucial aspect of creating cash flow involves understanding and leveraging the power of systems. The truly wealthy don't just save and invest randomly, they create systematic approaches to wealth building that can be replicated and scaled. This might mean developing a proven process for identifying and acquiring cash-flowing real estate, establishing automated online businesses, or building a portfolio of dividend-growing stocks. These systems, once established, continue to function with minimal direct intervention. The psychological impact of breaking free from paycheck dependency cannot be overstated. Those living paycheck to paycheck exist in a state of constant financial tension, where unexpected expenses can trigger significant stress and disruption. Cash flow creators, however, experience a profound sense of financial peace, knowing that their income continues regardless of temporary setbacks or changes in employment status. Creating cash flow requires patience and strategic thinking, qualities often lacking in those pursuing the appearance of wealth. The fake rich seek immediate gratification through spending, while the truly wealthy delay gratification to build sustainable income streams. This patience allows them to weather economic uncertainties and capitalize on opportunities that arise during market downturns. The relationship between time and money fundamentally differs for these two groups. The fake rich trade their time directly for money, remaining trapped in the linear relationship between hours worked and income earned. The real wealthy invest their time in creating systems that generate exponential returns, understanding that true financial freedom comes from breaking this direct time-money connection. This distinction becomes particularly apparent in how each group approaches financial planning. Those living paycheck to paycheck often focus on short-term budgeting and expense management. While budgeting matters, the truly wealthy focus primarily on expanding their cash flow capabilities, knowing that increasing income streams provides more financial security than merely controlling expenses. They recognize that the solution to financial constraints lies not in further restriction, but in expanding their capacity to generate wealth through multiple channels. Lesson 10. Fake rich chase trends, real rich build legacy. The allure of trends is a siren song that has led many aspiring wealth builders astray. Those playing the fake rich game often find themselves caught in an endless cycle of chasing the latest investment fad, cryptocurrency, or business venture that promises quick riches. They jump from one hot trend to another, always arriving just a little too late and leaving just a little too early, watching their resources dwindle with each pivot. True wealth builders understand that lasting prosperity isn't built on fleeting trends, but on timeless principles and enduring value creation. They focus on establishing systems, businesses, and investments that will stand the test of time and benefit future generations. While the fake rich exhaust themselves trying to catch the next wave, the genuinely wealthy are building foundations that will weather any storm. This fundamental difference in approach becomes evident in how each group allocates their resources. Trend chasers typically invest heavily in whatever is making headlines, whether it's NFTs, meme stocks, or the latest social media platform, often without understanding the underlying value or mechanics. They make decisions based on FOMO, fear of missing out, rather than careful analysis and long-term planning. Their portfolios become a graveyard of abandoned projects and deprecated assets. In contrast, legacy builders focus on timeless wealth vehicles, cash-flowing real estate, established businesses with strong fundamentals, index funds that track the broader market, and ventures that solve real problems for real people. They understand that true wealth creation isn't about timing the market, but about time in the market. Their decisions are guided by the question, will this still have value in 20, 30, or 50 years? The psychology behind trend chasing reveals an important truth about fake wealth. It's driven by an insecurity that manifests as a need to always be in the know and part of the latest movement. This insecurity leads to reactive rather than proactive financial decisions. The fake rich often make moves based on what others are doing rather than what aligns with their own long-term vision and values. Legacy builders, however, operate from a place of confidence and clarity. They understand that meaningful wealth creation is a marathon, not a sprint. Their focus extends beyond personal gain to consider how their wealth can impact their families and communities for generations to come. They invest in education, establish family trusts, create sustainable businesses, and build institutions that will outlast them. This longer time horizon fundamentally changes how they evaluate opportunities. While trend chasers might measure success in months or even days, legacy builders think in decades and generations. They're less concerned with quick wins and more focused on sustainable growth and value creation. This perspective allows them to remain calm during market turbulence and stay committed to their long-term strategy, while others panic and chase the next hot thing. The impact of these different approaches becomes most apparent during major market shifts and economic changes. Trend chasers often find themselves exposed and vulnerable when the music stops and the trend they've been following suddenly loses favor. Legacy builders, with their diversified approach and focus on fundamental value, not only survive these transitions, but often find ways to thrive in them. Perhaps most importantly, legacy builders understand that true wealth isn't just about financial assets. It's about creating lasting, positive impact. They invest in relationships, community development, and initiatives that improve the world around them. They know that the greatest legacy isn't just the wealth they accumulate, but the positive change they create and the values they instill in future generations. Lesson 11. Fake rich lack time, real rich own it. Time is the ultimate currency of life, yet the fake rich and truly wealthy handle it in dramatically different ways. Those attempting to maintain the appearance of wealth often find themselves trapped in a perpetual time deficit, constantly racing against the clock to maintain their facade. They're overwhelmed by commitments, stretched thin by obligations, and perpetually playing catch-up with their lifestyle demands. The fake rich operate in a reactive state, their schedules dictated by others' expectations and the pressing need to generate income to support their image. They trade time for money in linear ways, often working longer hours or taking on additional responsibilities simply to maintain their expensive lifestyle choices. Their relationship with time is one of scarcity and stress, characterized by rushed decisions and minimal strategic planning. In stark contrast, the truly wealthy have mastered the art of time ownership. They understand that real wealth isn't just about money, it's about having the freedom to choose how you spend your hours. They've built systems and structures that allow them to operate from a position of temporal abundance rather than scarcity. Through careful delegation, automation, and strategic investment in both business and personal infrastructure, they've created space for what truly matters. The real wealthy approach time as an asset to be invested rather than a resource to be consumed. They focus on high-leverage activities that generate exponential returns, whether in business, relationships, or personal growth. Their calendars reflect their priorities rather than their obligations, and they're not afraid to say no to opportunities that don't align with their long-term vision. This fundamental difference in time management manifests in their daily routines. While the fake rich rush from meeting to meeting, constantly checking their phones and responding to endless urgent requests, the truly wealthy operate with intention and space. They build in time for reflection, strategic thinking, and relationship nurturing. They understand that some of the most valuable uses of time don't show immediate returns, but compound significantly over the long term. The wealthy also recognize that time ownership extends beyond their own schedule. They invest in creating time freedom for others, building teams and systems that operate effectively without their constant presence. This multiplication of time through others allows them to scale their impact while maintaining personal freedom. They're not tied to specific locations or schedules, giving them the flexibility to seize opportunities or respond to challenges as they arise. Perhaps most importantly, the truly wealthy understand that time ownership is about quality, not just quantity. They're present in their moments, whether in business meetings, family dinners, or personal pursuits. They've learned to eliminate the mental clutter that comes from living beyond one's means or maintaining appearances, allowing them to fully engage with whatever they're doing. This mastery of time reflects a deeper truth about wealth creation. It's not about working more hours, but about making each hour work more effectively for you. The real wealthy have shifted from trading time for money to investing time in ways that create lasting value. They build assets that generate passive income, develop relationships that create opportunities, and cultivate knowledge that compounds over time. The path to time ownership begins with a fundamental shift in mindset. It requires moving away from the instant gratification and constant hustle mentality often associated with fake wealth, towards a more strategic and sustainable approach to both time and money. True wealth creators understand that owning their time isn't just about having a flexible schedule. It's about having the freedom to direct their energy toward what truly matters, creating a legacy that extends far beyond their immediate sphere of influence. Lesson 12. Fake rich look rich, real rich stay rich. The ultimate irony of wealth lies in its presentation versus its preservation. Those who appear wealthy often find themselves trapped in an exhausting cycle of maintaining appearances, while those who possess genuine wealth focus on sustaining and growing their financial foundation. This fundamental difference separates those who merely look rich from those who actually stay rich. The facade of wealth requires constant upkeep, much like a movie set that looks impressive from the front but lacks structural integrity. People caught in this pattern often spend enormous amounts of energy and resources maintaining an image that becomes increasingly difficult to sustain. They purchase the latest designer items, drive luxury vehicles beyond their means, and frequent exclusive establishments, all while their financial foundation crumbles beneath the glamorous surface. True wealth operates on an entirely different principle. Those who maintain lasting wealth understand that financial security isn't about what others can see, but rather about what exists beneath the surface. They focus on building robust financial structures, diverse investment portfolios, multiple income streams, strategic tax planning, and risk management systems. These elements rarely make headlines or attract Instagram followers, but they create the bedrock of lasting prosperity. The psychological toll of appearing wealthy often goes unnoticed, but proves devastating over time. Those caught in the appearance trap live with constant anxiety about maintaining their image, worried that others might discover the truth about their financial situation. This stress affects their decision-making, leading to choices that further compromise their long-term financial health. They might skip essential maintenance on their assets, avoid necessary medical care, or neglect retirement planning, all to maintain the illusion of wealth. In contrast, Those who focus on staying wealthy experience a different kind of freedom. They make decisions based on long-term value rather than immediate perception. This might mean driving a reliable but modest vehicle while their investment portfolio grows, or living in a comfortable but not ostentatious home while building their business empire. Their peace of mind comes from knowing their wealth is real, sustainable, and growing, rather than from others' perception of their success. The real wealthy understand that true financial security often requires making choices that might appear counterintuitive to outside observers. They might shop at discount stores, use coupons, or fly economy class, not because they can't afford alternatives, but because they recognize that maintaining wealth requires conscious stewardship. These habits, formed during the wealth-building phase, often persist even after achieving significant financial success. Education and continuous learning play crucial roles in maintaining wealth versus merely appearing wealthy. Those focused on staying rich invest heavily in understanding financial markets, tax laws, investment strategies, and emerging opportunities. They spend time with financial advisors, attend relevant seminars, and stay informed about economic trends. This knowledge becomes their true luxury, far more valuable than any visible status symbol. The generational impact of looking rich versus staying rich becomes evident over time. Those who prioritize appearances often leave their children with debt, unfunded educational needs, and poor financial habits. In contrast, those who focus on maintaining wealth create legacies that extend far beyond material possessions. They pass down not just financial assets, but also the knowledge, skills, and values necessary to preserve and grow wealth across generations. The path to lasting wealth requires embracing this fundamental truth. True prosperity isn't about looking rich today, but about maintaining and growing wealth over time. It demands making choices that might not always be visible or impressive to others, but that contribute to long-term financial stability and growth. The genuine wealthy understand that essential significant achievement isn't in displaying wealth, but in creating systems and habits that ensure their prosperity endures.